Hi Countryside, it's Joe Smith, your General Manager, and I'm here again with Mike McDonald, the chair of our 2.0 renovation committee. And today's Friday, June 21st, and we skipped a week with our project update, but you and I were trying to coordinate our schedules. There was a lot going on in the last couple weeks, so we apologize for that, but we've got a pretty substantial update for the community today. So we are standing in the atrium. If you all can picture, this was the back wall of the atrium area. Mike, this has changed, and as I look out to where the Lakeview Lounge is going to be, it's all dug up again.
Sure. Well,
so we're going through some different phases here. So where are we at?
So the atrium, we've wrestled with the problem of the floor being out of level.
Yep.
This column being no good, this beam being no good, trying to save the storefront so we didn't have to spend the money. We've come full circle on it. We're going to level the floor up. We're going to replace, so now we've removed the old door and storefront. We're going to save the door for reuse in the dining room later. But we've identified a cost, and we're agreed that the committee is going to move forward to fix all the mistakes of the past that occurred here in this atrium when it went from an outdoor space to an indoor space. So that work is being staged, and documents will be prepared for the revision to the doors and windows and the slab. So we're squared away there. The Lakeview Lounge bar area, the first thing we had done weeks ago was cut a trench and bring the beer and soda lines over. So then they filled back the trench for safety so everybody could continue working. Next in line, the plumbers came in, and they've roughed out, as your photos will show, all the drain piping and all the water piping is now roughed out. The electrician started this week. They're bringing their wires in. That's the sequence of things. The drains have to go first because they have to pitch so that when things go in the drain, it runs to the right place. So they get the preference of under the slab first choice. So the bigger pipes are either the rough-in for the soda and beer or the drain work. The small pipes are the water lines. They don't have to be pitched. They can be wherever. They just have to be protected. The electrician goes last because wires don't matter. They can run everywhere they have to. They can go above pipes, below pipes, around them. So that's the last bit of the underground prep, which was delayed a week by the rain. We had 4.5 days of rain, 17 inches. Really the reason we lost our week last week on the video is work pretty much was halted, except inside the HVAC guys continued to put the ductwork in for the new cooling system. So the pour of the slab for Lakeview Lounge and the entire wing was going to be this Monday past, now it's going to be next Monday. Immediately after that, we'll have walls going up, masonry walls. Concrete tie beams formed and poured, and roof trusses, which are now due in about 2 to 3 weeks. So the roof over the entire wing will go in, plywood, waterproof membrane, and will be dry in this wing.
So by the end of July, in that time frame, we should see some substantial shape to this area.
That building should be substantially there.
Excellent.
And that opens up more work for crews, because now they're under a roof. Because we are getting our daily afternoon showers today. We had a brief one. So that'll add about 30% to the work area once that roof is on. So we'll cut loose with framing for drywall, rough in of electrical, and the rest of the work will continue.
Before we hop to the other side of the building, I wanted to ask you, I'm looking at the plumbing and kind of the layout there that's been excavated. That's the general shape of the bar, correct?
Yes, there's some chalk lines, string lines, and rebar that
we'll try and get a picture so you all can get an idea of what we're looking at here, but substantial bar in the Lakeview Lounge. I mean, that's going to be awesome. And it's right in the middle of the area there. So as the renderings have shown, be providing seating all the way around the bar. And
I mean, it's a traditional island bar that we've all experienced in other pubs, taverns, restaurants. 30 seats, service, 2 bartenders, double up on the beer taps, etc. All the refrigeration and glassware and washing, all the things we never had really at a real scale in our old bar, which was
Well, and Scott and I don't know if you watched the video Scott and I did a week or so ago over here where we talked specifically about the beer cooler
Sure.
and how that was going to affect the member experience, just in terms of speed of service and variety, and not having to haul kegs through the dining room and whatnot.
Sure.
So it's a huge improvement.
It's got to be a legitimate situation.
Yes,
so
yes.
so we're all formed up at the edge. So because as you know, we did foundations, we did stem walls in concrete block, we filled the cells with grout and rebar. So there's a form now around the edge. So once we backfill, compact, and pour that slab, it'll run right up to the edge of those forms. That'll cap the stem walls, and then we're ready to go with the new masonry walls. And the rebar will continue, so we'll have reinforcement in the walls. So looking solid on this side of things. We'll end up, we are already roughed in for our new bathrooms over here, the private dining room, our covered porch. Everything is ready to take form in the third dimension here with walls and so forth.
Another milestone.
Yep, the fabrication drawings are under review for windows and doors, the trusses, so everything is being lined up, reviewed by the architect or the engineer, and then getting approved and ordered by the subcontractor.
Excellent.
Yep, looking good.
So talk to me a little bit about what's taken shape over on the pool side of the building.
Sure.
I see there's a footprint.
Yes.
And again, we'll drop in some aerials so you can get a good visual. You and I walked the bar area yesterday.
Yes.
Big space.
Yeah, nice.
It's nice to see it laid out. So what do we've got? What's going on over there?
So all the foundations are complete over there. All the stem walls are up to the underside of slab level. They're backfilling those walls. The rain was a little bit of delay there as well, but getting ready for sending the plumbers over there. I think they're starting this week to bring their all the services that this bar has. It's identical over there. So the plumber again will do in the same order of priority, bring the drain lines in, bring the water lines in, followed by the electrician, backfill, compact, and pour the slab.
Excellent.
So I think that's about 3 weeks out to get that whole wing configured. All concrete work is done as far as foundations. All the stem walls are in, so we're ready for slab here on Monday and slab over there a couple weeks later.
Excellent. So over the next 4 to 6 weeks here, we're going to continue to see a lot of change.
Yep. You'll see the buildings.
The club
we've really been looking at the old building and what's been stripped away.
Yeah.
Now we'll see the form of the new buildings.
Yeah, excellent. I don't remember if we touched on this column here. This was a metal column that was not structurally sound that we decided to remove, and you see it's all formed in
it's been poured.
Block,
yeah.
so.
We don't really know how that got there. It was a big steel column, big enough to hold up a bridge. It didn't really fit into a building that's all masonry and concrete.
Right.
So I don't know how that got there. When we opened it up, it wasn't even really connected properly.
Yeah.
The column was fine, the foundation was fine, but it wasn't really doing the job because it wasn't connected. So we just felt, the engineer said, let's go back, take that column out, go back with a concrete
resolve it
and masonry solution. So it's sympathetic with the rest of the structure. So as things move with temperature and humidity fluctuations, building materials move microscopically. It's better if they're all homogeneous. Instead of having that lone piece of steel. It's probably why it got separated.
Right.
Because the steel moves more than the concrete moved.
Right.
Eventually that connection just sort of shook apart over time from microscopic changes.
Well, and again, not to rehash, the different shapes of the building in the past, but that area that was the sunken bar in Lakeview Lounge was an outdoor undercover patio that was off of the pro shop at one time. So who knows? That column, I don't think it was part of the original structure. It was probably added at some point. So
it was probably a surplus.
I think it's good to point out because we've identified items like that, and the committee has been diligent in doing it right. And making sure we have a building that is sound for many years to come.
All of our openings have been cut. The edges have been reinforced with grout and rebar into the cells. We've added steel channel reinforcement. So all the areas that were either deficient to begin with or because of modifications they needed to be upgraded, all that work is done as well.
Excellent.
Also in the old bathrooms, we had limited the work there to just refeeding all the water lines. We didn't want to leave old copper pipes onto the slab. Most of you know there's problems when concrete and copper come in contact with each other. There have been a few condos in the development that have had failed water lines under the slab. So during the design, the engineer said, now's the time.
Yeah.
So we have done it. So all that work's complete as well. We've cut into the drywall in each bathroom, wherever there was a fixture, just cut off the old water line, brought in new plastic water piping from the ceiling. So we're going to avoid any future degradation or problems.
Excellent.
In that area.
Excellent.
We have on our goal for any money left in our contingency to complete some finish redos in there, the flooring, the wallpaper, maybe the countertops.
Yeah.
So we need to do an aesthetic upgrade in there to both patch the cuts we've made and to just bring those rooms up to the level of the other work.
And that's another good update that we can provide. Some of you may have already heard, following yesterday's board meeting, the board has approved moving an additional $250,000 into the project contingency, and that money was generated off of interest we are earning on our capital funds. So there's no additional cost or expense to the community in any such way. But we've just earmarked an additional $250,000 to further compensate our contingency, in the hopes that we can continue to do some of those other upgrades that weren't in the plan. Of course, contingency dollars are subject to board approval, but I think that just shows a level of confidence from the board in the committee and what you're focused on, how you're prioritizing things. So it was a positive thing at the board meeting. And again, I like to stress that is not costing anyone any additional money. We have generated that cash from our financial investments and related to the capital funds for the project.
Well, the member money was collected in advance, and it's being collected every quarter. So that money needs to make money for us, and that's exactly what happened.
Absolutely. So positive thing for the project. Mike, what else? Are we missing anything?
The kitchen consultant has been coordinating with the contractor. We're getting ready. We've already started plumbing work under the floor in the kitchen area. That's obviously an intense area of development. A lot of money per square foot in there. So we've released the funds to put deposits on all the kitchen equipment. It's $1.5 million. We wanted to lock in the pricing, 2023 pricing. So an important area that coordination has begun to make sure that the equipment we're buying, where's the plug, does it need gas, where's the water, feeds, the drains, so that this under slab work is directly correlated to the selections that the chef advised us on and the committee approved from our consultant.
Excellent.
So looking good there.
And I think we've also nailed down our low voltage plan with in terms of house music and speakers and outdoor music piped into the pool area and in the brick area. We're identifying some key locations for entertainers to plug into our house music, so we could pipe, perhaps have an entertainer on the pool and pipe it into the building, or vice versa. So this is kind of the fun part where we're juggling all these different contractors and trying to get things lined up. The other thing that's happening in a few weeks is the well drilling for the geothermal pool heaters.
Right, we met with that contractor a couple of weeks ago. We have to have 2 wells. One is to feed the warm water or the cold water into the ground. The other is to bring it out again. We're basically using the energy sink that's in the ground, 60 feet of depth for the 2 wells, about 100 feet between them. So we located those, and they're getting their permits now. They'll be driving a large rig into the parking lot on the other side of Wellness and drill those 2 wells and cap them, and eventually we'll trench out and bring those into the pool equipment area.
Excellent.
So that was a direct hire contract by the team, so that we saved a markup from our general contractor, and a line of work you're familiar with from your other experiences. So that'll be exciting to get our pool working on a geothermal system.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
It actually works in reverse in the hot months. It actually takes heat out of the pool in the summer months, runs that warm water into the ground. It cools a few degrees, whatever that is, 5 degrees, 10 degrees, comes back to the pool cooler than it went in.
Now it's neat.
And then most months it's the opposite. We're taking, say, 80-degree water, putting it into the ground, grabbing 10 degrees and bringing it back. So,
someone asked me recently if we're actually pumping groundwater into the pool. And just so you're clear on this, that's not what happens. We're actually, we circulate the water pull out of the ground next to the water in the pool
Right.
through a heat exchanger.
Yep.
And we basically pull the temperature from one source into the other source. The
Yeah.
two waters never touch each other.
No, it's a closed loop system,
Yes,
it's called.
yes.
Yeah. So geothermal in the early days was open loop, and it literally was groundwater.
Yeah.
You know, the water from your buildings, air conditioning, whatever, go into
Right.
the ground, and it would intermingle with the groundwater, and then it would blow, the excess would blow out to the ground,
Yeah.
you know, outside on whatever.
You're not going to be swimming in groundwater. No worries.
Yeah, the closed loop system
So-
is the state of the art.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, we're just
But-
stealing degrees or contributing degrees
Yeah.
into the ground or out of the ground
Yeah.
from the bedrock, which has all the water circulating in it.
But again, you know, the systems work very well,
Sure.
especially down here, and they're very reliable too. So,
Right, right.
As far as a maintenance standpoint, another improvement for the club. So,
Sure. It's a simple vertical pump that's inside
Yep.
the pipe.
You don't even see anything in the well.
No.
I mean, it's
Nope.
a little cap, and it'll be landscaped. You won't even
Sure.
know it's there.
Yep.
So in the coming weeks, obviously, if you're around the club, there's going to be a lot of activity that continues. A lot of large trucks, concrete trucks, well drilling trucks. So again, just ask everybody to be mindful, be cautious. Also forward looking, we're going to be pushing out this construction fence again, probably in the August timeframe. So the cart staging area is going to be impacted as we begin some of the work with those brick pavers and those landscape beds to the north here. So as we get closer, we'll of course communicate and give you all a heads up, but that is on the horizon. And
As well as the parking lot outside of Wellness on the
yes,
south side. But
that's
August
correct.
is our slowest month, I think.
Yes.
As far as member activity, so we'll be tearing up. We've already taken that parking lot for workers, but
Yes.
we're going to start to tear up the asphalt, reconfigure that parking lot, new lights, new drains, and eventually repave 2 coats. So we'll probably pave the first coat to keep it clean for contractor parking, and then the second coat at the end of the
Once
cycle.
done.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
I think we covered it, Mike.
Yeah, looking good.
Awesome. So as always, Countryside, any questions, comments, you can send them our way. Website continues to be updated with all the information and the reports from the committee. And we're trucking along. Lots of progress happening, exciting times, and I guess we'll see you all in a couple weeks.
Sure.
All right. Mike,
All right.
thanks as always. Countryside, we'll see you around the club real soon.